So, welcome to day two in your journey of understanding how miracles work and is it possible to consciously turn into a miracle magnet? That's what we are exploring. And it's worth exploring it because the nature of miracles are such. If you ever experience a miracle in your life, you cannot help but think, how did this happen? There are certain events that come together and leave us perplexed because we can't realize who could have strategized things in such a way. And what usually happens is things end up to be absolutely right when they're aligned universally. And that is also what's happening. You see, we are born with a sole purpose, each one of us. And this sole purpose is ingrained in our DNA. Now, for us to realize this purpose and to be on that purpose is what we call meaning of life. It's not compulsory that every human being will get connected to his or her purpose consciously or not. But consciously or unconsciously, you are always going to be walking on your life purpose. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. It's not a choice as simple as if you try to hold your breath right now. If you just take your fingers and take a deep breath in and hold your breath and close your nose with your fingers. Try it. Just completely hold your breath. Using the fingers, close your nose. Try to hold this breath inside. Just be with this breath. Try to control this breath. Don't allow breath to come in or out. And as you notice, the comfort starts becoming uncomfortable. It's not easy. And very slowly, we are compelled but to open our nose or open our mouth and start breathing again. What this really helps us understand is that your logic, your brain can think you are in control. It can be made to believe that you are in control of your actions. But a simple command of stop breathing cannot be executed. There are certain things you just cannot decide for or take control over. You will never have any decision making on your digestion. How the food is going to get digested has got no compliance or has no kind of connection or is not communicated to you or is not in any kind of calibration with your conscious mind, what we call the conscious mind. And why is all this interesting is that if there is such a high wisdom that governs our life to these critical, crucial decisions, like you could not choke upon yourself even if you try. The body just adjusts always in such a way to survive. That's really the point. You often see miracles when you move away from the life purpose or get disoriented. And the act of bringing you back onto the life purpose is actually what we call miracle. It is not that you are a chosen one or a special one whom someone is watching over and analyzing that by helping you in this part of your life, you are going to get glorious benefit. It could not be so analytical and so specific. It's really about, hey, you are supposed to be on a journey, and if you deviate from it, we're going to drag you back onto the journey. So it's more about dragging back onto the main road rather than thinking that the road has shifted for us. It's we who shift back onto the main road. So this is, of course, a very sophisticated idea. It cannot be wrapped all around within just a couple of hours. So I invite you to work with me for a year. Because it's one part to know you, and to after know you, how do you start designing your mindset is within our control. And that's what we're doing in these sessions. In these meditations, we want to not necessarily add or bring new things in our life, but through meditations, we are using to the full extent our existing resources, our talents, our opinions get clear, our decisions become more clear, and that becomes our superpower. So today we go ahead, what we started deciphering this process of manifestation. It's a linear process where every step has its own environment and its own condition to be fulfilled. And only when those conditions are fulfilled, the next step is triggered. We started understanding yesterday that the very first thing is decision making, because your life force has to be backing up what you want to manifest in the first place. So to decide that what you want and demand in life is actually connected to your life purpose and is connected to you becomes a very defining parameter in whether your wishes are going to come true or not. Once you make that decision, once you create the right project and the right vantage point or the right approach, then we realize we should create the integrity about it. Everything has to be in integrity of it. If you want to be a crorepati, your family has to be in integrity with it. Your partner has to also dream of being a crorepati. If you have a conflict in image, that in itself is a big leakage. So this kind of integrity is important. Where you are targeting 10 lakh rupees this month, but if your sales team is not notified or is not capable to handle so many leads, convert so many sales, then you are not in integrity with what you want. So this second step becomes very important because it's a realistic step. It levels us and makes us really think that what we want and demand from life, is it even possible or not? So we create the integrity, we create the environment in sync with what we want. And then we realize how badly we want it. And that's the hunger. We develop a hunger, or we realize the hunger that we have. The fact that we are sitting through to learn and understand how can we manifest our dreams is quite reflective of our hunger to become the best version of ourselves, or our hunger to make our dreams come true. So this kind of hunger makes you bend reality. Hunger will always bend reality. When you get hungry, there's absolutely no logic left. If you're hungry for 3 days, if you get food in front of you, you're not going to be restricting yourself for basic manners. It won't apply. Hunger has its own mind. It will overrule every other instinct. So once we get that hunger going on for what we demand, today we start to understand how does it really begin. It begins with action. The fourth step is action, which actually becomes a first step in many ways, because without action, there is no result. We have just been preparing the ground, and now today we want to realize that the integrity that we created and the hunger that we have now, this hunger will demand certain types of action so that it can get fulfilled. These actions have to be met. These actions have to be done, and that is the crucial factor in your attraction, in your results. Action itself. And it's so obvious. If you don't have action, if you just have a plan, it doesn't work. You can have the most genius, intuitive plan, just like 97% of the people on the world have a brilliant, genius, billion-dollar plan right in their back pocket. I'm sure each one of you has an amazing crores of rupees of plan. You know how to get that abundance. You know how to make a multi-billion-dollar company if you had to. You have that idea. What happens is after this idea stage, the hunger cannot be satiated just by planning. It has to move to the action phase. And that's where these meditations or these sessions we conduct become so useful, because to show up for your dream every day in itself is half battle won. Difference between leaders and followers is just that they show up. It's not that they have anything different going on in them. It's just that they show up. And when they show up, the divine flow will take care of what you need to do. So doing the actions makes it available for your results to even come true. And then once you understand what are the actions to be taken, you have to fall absolutely in love with it. Love being the binding force of the world, is the cement, is the gum, is the glue. It's that string, that is that elastic that joins all of us together, like it or not. When we don't understand it, we call it hate, but it's nothing but another type of love. Love is the only true magnetic force in the world. For love, we will conquer everything. You can take bullets. What are these miracles that we are wanting to execute or wanting to attract in our life? Not so much from the logic, but rather we want to understand that we just want to be creating an environment in a way that whenever miracles are needed, they should just come seamless. And that's where we are headed. To move more out of the logic where we started yesterday, where the logic can demand things from the world and people around you and think that is a good project to manifest. Oh, I have a miracle. I want my friend should return me my 3 lakh rupees. That is not a miracle. A miracle is only and only an alignment back to your purpose. A miracle is the driver getting 5 minutes late and taking off late, the train driver getting late, and so that you don't miss your train. That's a miracle. You're stuck in traffic and your flight gets 20 minutes delayed and still you make your flight. That's a miracle. Your phone falls from the second floor and doesn't crack. That's a miracle. Your child falls in the water and there was somebody standing next to the bank or to the side and it jumps and saves your baby. That's a miracle. Miracles come in these kind of forms and they shake you when it happens. How did this happen? Why did I get this kind of extreme luck? And this is a very good opportunity for us to develop this love for the divine when we see these miracles. That how important am I? That universe does these extraordinary things to keep me alive. And that can be so powerful and so liberating. With our money meditations and this lifestyle training that we are doing, especially in the Unicorn Club, we are shaping us the entire year to understand not that how great and amazing we can become, but first start to realize that how great and amazing we already are. We are born as fragments of the divine. And it's really coming back to this realization that helps people most than creating new castles, but to realize that you're already in paradise. So this kind of awareness, this love for your action, you cannot create love for the result because it doesn't exist yet. And that is where vanity comes in. When you just keep creating and demanding results from thin air and demanding the world of results which it doesn't understand. Please, please let India win the World Cup. Has got nothing to do with your miracle. So we start to make our brain actually come out of delusion. What we call magic is not magic. The only magic that we can experience is when universe realigns us to our purpose. So you can help yourself by actually creating a life purpose blueprint so that you are moving along full speed and you don't need these divine interventions to remind you of who you are. Miracle is your loved one getting hospitalized, nearly death, and is on the operating table and goes clinically dead for 15 seconds and then come back. That is a miracle. And it happens. It happens only to those people who have projects remaining. If you start researching on these near-death experiences, you find, as we're also researching and documenting centenarians, a clear-cut pattern what we see is love for life itself is a big, big defining point about inviting magic and miracles. Your love for life, your love to exist, your love to perform creates a magnetic aura in you. When you go to a circus, if you have three jokers there, the one who is happy to perform, you see it in their body language, you will definitely feel like watching that performer more. The athlete who's putting his more effort, when you see that he's eager to perform and he's enjoying the performance, the dancer is enjoying the performance and not so focused on the applause or the appreciation later, you notice that dancer and you enjoy him enjoying his performance. That is love. That is attraction. When you see a couple sitting in a garden and they're looking at each other with love and smile, you can't help but smile along with them because love is attractive and is contagious. We see a music video or a movie, or we read a novel and we fall in love. We just need a second to fall in love. We are already in love, always. So to remind this love and connect it to the actions we need to make becomes a crucial connection so that we can consistently perform this action. Moving beyond creating this field of love for your work, so you're doing it every day. But that does not mean that just because you did your work, you're going to get all your results. And that is where most of the times we are perplexed or confused that, hey, I did my work. Still, why my results are not coming? It's not fair. And this feeling of unfair is so frustrating because you had a plan, you executed that plan, the plan is now done, but still the results are delayed. You finish the work as a contractor, but your client is not releasing your payment. It's so frustrating. You said you might be creating, you are looking for some designs, you're looking for some creation, but the team that wants to design it keeps postponing. You're just waiting. And you're like, hey, I gave you the advance, I hired the correct people, but still it doesn't get done on time. And you're waiting. And then you start to understand that it's not just about action that creates results. Along with action is also unblocking the energy that is very much important. Filling up the leakages is very much important. If you're running a race, it's very much important you go and first remove the thorns out of your track before starting your race. Because just having strong legs is not enough. Because when the thorn will come, the strongest of runners will have to move along as per the thorns. You can't get hit by the thorn. You'll get removed from the race due to this one thorn. And that's what happens to us. These memories of our elders and our peers, our mentors and our colleagues, anyone and everyone, the way they look at the world influences us tremendously. The way your neighbor interprets the news about India and China affects us tremendously, because that's how we make sense of the world. We are so involved in our own reality. To make the sense of the world, we cannot help but rely on each other. But in this relay of communication, what happens is this loss of communication. And so easily we can be fed limiting beliefs in the name of precaution. Don't show off your money, or people will think that you are careless with money, or people will look at your money and your money starts shrinking. Nazar lag jayegi. These kind of limiting beliefs actually hinder us from celebrating money growing in our life. And we don't even realize it. We don't realize that it's our belief system that money is what is breaking up families. And look at the Ambanis, and they were such a happy family, and because of money, they split apart. And I don't want money. And you can just make an example out of any situation and create a conclusion out of it. If you're not well aligned in your blueprint, anything and everything will come and influence you. So we should understand that we want to constantly work on forgiveness. Forgiveness for the people who have fed us with these limiting beliefs, knowingly and unknowingly, and forgiveness to yourself that you did not put enough effort to realize the truth. And you got stuck with such a limiting belief. And it's allowed and it's okay. And the beautiful part of it is today you can drop it and move on. So after you do forgiveness, your speed, your efficiency doubles up. You just realize that everything is able to move faster with this awareness. When you are conscious and when you're connected to yourself, you just make better decisions. So compassion, empathy is a very good virtue value to perform in order to make sure you stay alert and aware. That's why when we give and we help people, we end up helping ourselves. Because when we want to help people, we allow the divine to flow through us and we learn new talent, skills, values. So forgiveness is actually the biggest attraction force in the world. If you notice, when you want to forgive each other, you always either shake hands or hug each other. You cannot help but not connect with each other. The moment you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, everyone and anyone around you, you will notice starts moving towards you and it turns into a connection. That's the power of forgiveness. When you forgive someone, that person feels obliged to touch your feet or give you a hug, kiss your hand. In some way, they want to connect to you, because when you forgive someone, you're actually cleaning up filth in your mind, in a way. Because any kind of hurt is nothing but baggage for us. You were right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You were right or wrong to feel hurt or not, it doesn't matter. But any kind of hurt, if